Join me as I challenge myself in mastering English punctuation in just 7 minutes. Can I do it? Hi everyone. Welcome to this 7 minutes punctuation guide. Whether you're a student, a teacher, or just someone who wants to sharpen his or her English, this video is for you. Let's dive in. The first punctuation mark that you're going to look at is the period. This is one of the simplest punctuation marks. It is used to complete a sentence or a thought. For example, the cat is sleeping. You realize that we use it to complete the sentence. If you don't have a period at the end of the sentence, then that sentence is incomplete. So always add a period or add the period at the end of a sentence or at the end of the idea. The second punctuation that we're going to look at is commas. Yeah, if you look at my previous video, I talked about commas and I gave you the details of commas. So for that reason, I'm just going to give this shallowly. So commas are very tricky. Yes, they are very tricky, but when you know how to use them and when to use them, it becomes very easy. So the very first way that we use a comma is we use commas to separate a list of items. For example, I bought bananas, oranges, apples, and grapes. Secondly, we use commas after introductory elements. For example, after the meeting, we went for coffee. And thirdly, we use commas with conjunctions in the sentence. For example, I wanted to go, but it started raining. But don't overuse commas in your writing, because commas are meant to clarify and not to confuse. If you use many commas in your writing, it becomes confused. It makes your writing confused. So be very careful when using commas. Don't overuse them. The next is a question mark. We use question marks at the end of a question. Very easy. For example, what time is it? All you need to do is, instead of putting a period, the period, you just need to put a question mark. That's just it. So whenever you ask a question, always put a question mark at the end of the question. Because if you don't put a question mark, then that becomes a statement and not a question. So always put a question mark at the end of a question. And that's very simple, right? The next is an exclamation mark. We use exclamation mark to show excitement or urgency. For example, watch out! That's amazing. But remember, use them sparingly. Don't use too much exclamation marks in your writing, because it will make the writing to be ambiguous. The next is the colon. Colon introduces a list of explanations. For example, I need 3 things: pen, paper, patience. Another example, the reason is simple: I love learning. So whenever you want to add emphasis or you want to introduce details, you first of all have to add your colon before adding the emphasis or introducing the details, like in the example you just seen. The next on our list is the semicolon. Semicolons are used to connect closely related ideas. For example, I love reading. It helps me relax. You can also use semicolon in lists where commas can cause confusion. For example, we visited New York, Japan, Paris, the USA, and Thailand. We also have apostrophe. Apostrophe shows possession or contractions. For example, apostrophe with possession, that's John's car. Apostrophe with contraction, don't worry. The next is quotation marks. Quotation marks are used to indicate someone's exact words. For example, she said, "I'll be there soon." The last but not the least is parentheses. Parentheses add extra non-essential information to a sentence. For example, she was late as usual, but still made the presentation. They offer a side note information or clarification without interrupting the main idea. So whenever I want to talk about a non-essential information or you want to add a non-essential information in your sentence, always remember to use parentheses. And that's it. You have just learned the basics of punctuation in just 7 minutes. Practice using these marks and you see a huge difference in your writing. If this video was helpful, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe for more videos. In subsequent videos, we are going to be looking at these punctuation marks detailedly, one after the other, with a lot of examples so that we can learn how to use them effectively. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you in my next video. Stay connected.